Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Learn with Jason. I'm here with Horacio,
Hello, everyone.
and I
Uh,
we were talking beforehand. I didn't say your last name because I can't roll my R's in Spanish, and I find it
that's all right.
very
Yeah,
sad. And
it's fine. I
so,
need to change my name then.
yeah,
So
you need to change your name to suit my abilities. That's absolutely what should
yeah.
happen. No, so can you do a quick intro, kind of who you are, what you're doing, all that good stuff?
Okay. So yeah, I'm Horacio. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kidding. I'm a designer and developer. I'm now in love with themes, and I've been building themes like for this couple weeks, like a lot. And I'm also a consultant, and I'm open for projects right now. So if you have something, let me know. And yeah, now I'm trying to learn how to do docs with Jason.
Awesome. Yeah. So our goal today is so we're in the middle of the theme jam. The theme jam is at themejam.gatsbyjs.org. It's running for the month of July. So we're approaching the midway point, right? You've got about 2 weeks left to get a theme in to get a chance at. We're giving free swag, exclusive swag to everybody who submits, and the two themes that pass or that get judged as the best themes are going to be awarded an all expenses paid trip to our next Gatsby Days, which is in London. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're really excited about this. And so one of the requirements, though, if you look at the contest rules, is the themes need to include both a live demo and documentation in the README. And so, Horacio, you asked me kind of like what are the best practices for that, and
Yeah.
I realized we don't really have those. So I thought it would be fun if we just jumped on and kind of talked through this together. And to do that, we're going to be looking at your work in progress theme, this Gatsby theme Instagram,
Yep.
and
This is one of the
we're
themes
going
that I'm building.
to
Actually.
yeah. And so, we can see here you've got some docs and the demo site, things that are like needing to be done.
Yeah, there's some
So
things that are already done over there, but that's fine. We can just check that out. Actually, the demo page is over there in the in the GitHub repo.
oh, here.
Yeah, so go there. Yeah, there you go.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So this is
so it's
great.
and also another thing that I'm sharing is the process of me building this. So actually, I don't know if I can send you a link because there's a um, in my YouTube I create a playlist for the this Gatsby theme, and also there's another one that I created, Gatsby theme NDX, and I just create videos for that. So if people are interested in see someone that doesn't know how to do themes, try to make some, that's also another source. I don't know how to send you a link. Maybe Twitter.
I think I just found it actually. I've got a playlist building Gatsby themes.
There you go.
Let's pause that so it doesn't give us double video. Yeah, so I will send this. Um, cool. So we've got a few people in the chat. We've got Ben is in here. Always good to see him. RFF, is that Raphael? Is that the name? Good to see you. Adarta, always good to see you. Um, so yeah, thanks for tuning in. We're super pumped to get started here. And yeah, here we go. We've got this. So if you want to actually see how the Gatsby theme Instagram was built, Horacio's got videos put together here. So I just put that in the chat, and we'll put that in the show notes as well. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to attempt. I want to try to do this collaboratively on Glitch because I've been having a lot of fun with that. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to create a new project from a Git repo, and I'm going to see what happens when I drop in your Git repo.
Let's see.
And we're going to see, is this going to work? It's going to be so cool if it works. All right, so this is good. We're getting close. It doesn't want to do something. Command not found. Okay, so I'm going to try. This may fail, and we may have to do something else. But what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to put in a scripts and a build, and I'm going to say yarn workspaces demo develop. Let's see if it goes.
Workspace without the S.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Glad you're here. That would have taken me a long time.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's okay. Bye. That's me. Thank you. I'm leaving. No, joking.
Okay, so now what's cool about this though is I can send over a link now, and anybody who wants to follow along is able to pick that up and go with it. Horacio, are you in the Twitch chat to get that link?
Yeah, let me go there. Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Why?
No, it's not
found.
Twitch. It's Twitch. Oh my God! Like all
Twitch.
the
That's
like Twitch,
yeah.
Glitch, Twitter, like all of them, kind of thing. I just
all right.
Okay.
So we got here.
So
what command?
I'm seeing ads right now. Mm-hmm.
Might not do what I want it to do. Can we just add, like, if we just add yarn, does it work? There's no way that's gonna work. I'm not even gonna bother.
I don't see the chats before. I don't know why.
Oh, all right. I'm just posting it again.
I was not there. Okay, cool. Thank you. Now I can jump in. Let's see how.
Oh, hey, Bryce is back. Good to see you, Bryce. So it looks like this may let us down for actually running the app, but it actually kind of doesn't matter because what we're doing today is editing readmes. And so this is he going to let me edit it? Yeah. All right. So here's you. Let me make you a editor so that you can jump in. So I guess the thing that we want to talk about, right, is like what needs to be documented. And then once we know what needs to be documented, we can talk about kind of how to do that. And so do you maybe want to give us a run through or a breakdown of like what's in this theme? And I'll just follow you around if you want to jump through the code.
Cool. So yeah, the idea of this theme is to let like website builders to integrate like components like Instagram like in their website. So I'm just using Gatsby source Instagram and create some components out of that. So it will be easy for them just to drop their username or hashtag or whatever that they want to pull in from Instagram to Gatsby, and then just use those components to render those items, those posts, however they like. So the first component that I created, if you go to theme source.
So I actually think I'm following you, so you can jump in there and glitch, and I think we'll just go with you.
Okay, so theme is source components. There's two components over there. I don't know if you can see them, card and grid. There's some things still that I need to learn how to do, but right now it's just pretty basic. A grid component that you saw in the demo. It's easy as just configure your Gatsby theme in the Gatsby config file as it is in the demo. And with that, you can pull in the grid. You can use the grid as a component. So essentially, that's it. Like I'm trying to take plugins that are useful and added some components to make it simpler to use them. So that's the idea.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. So in terms of actual usage, we can jump into the Gatsby config, and you are just straight up installing this theme.
Yep.
And that's it. How are you setting the username? Is it just defaulting to Gatsby?
Yeah, I'm defaulting to Gatsby.js right now. But if you pass an options with the username, you can put a username over there, and then you'll pull data from that. For now, I'm just enable username like as is here. But later I will add also hashtags, because you can also like pull data from hashtags from the Graph API. So I'm just gonna open the Gatsby source Instagram options to this theme as it is.
Sure.
But the benefit
Okay.
is just to get some components. Yeah.
And what's cool about this too is that you've effectively created like kind of a different sort of theme than what you would typically think of as a theme, because if you look at what a theme in like WordPress is, it's like a full website, right? And so you would have it would have to ship with like a home page and like all these different templates and layouts, and that's cool, but it doesn't it's kind of overkill for what you're trying to do here. What you're really trying to do is go one step further than a data source. And so this is what I think is one of the most exciting parts of Gatsby's theme plugin system is the plugins themselves are low level. So you're configuring like the theme UI plugin, you're configuring Sharp, and you're configuring Instagram to load this data. And while that's fine, it's kind of a lot to step through to get to the point where I just want to show some images on the screen. And then beyond that, with a plugin, typically you would also have to write this content or these components to display it. And so shipping these components
and also
yeah. So this is really powerful. So like let's take a look at this. You've got your index page and you're pulling in the grid, and this is huge. Like check this out. So we're in MDX here, and all you have to do is import grid from the theme and just drop that right in, and it shows up anywhere you want. And like if we were to go in and add some more content below, now unfortunately, like I said, the glitch isn't quite configured for workspaces. I'm gonna have to talk to their team and see if maybe we can. If there's probably a way to do it that I don't know. So I'll talk to Potch and see if he can show me. There was a question about Markdown. There was whether or not there's a Markdown toggle. So in VS Code, there is a Markdown toggle. You might have to install it though. I think it's called Markdown Preview, and that lets you go from like this is what it will look like rendered to this is me editing the theme. So that's one of those things. Cool. Oh, and then Not Rab said first time tuning in. Cool to have you here. Thanks for joining. So all of that being said, we're looking at Glitch here if you want to follow along. So we have, just to kind of recap really quickly, we have a theme. That theme takes one option at the moment, which is the username.
Yep.
And it exports two components, and that's the card, which is like the actual. Let's open the demo so we can look at it. So this part is the card.
Yep.
And then the layout where the photos are kind of put next to each other, that's the grid component. So here's the photo, and here's the collection of photos laid out on the screen. So this is really cool. And and Ben's saying that Markdown Preview is actually built into VS Code, which is great. I think I installed a plugin that I didn't need. So how would we document this? I would say we're probably looking at, let's go to the top level README. We can just say, let's maybe create one of these. We'll say like things to document. One, we've got theme options. So we need to know what those are, what they expect, what the defaults are, things like that. And two, we need to know what the exported components are. And under those, we need component APIs. And so like we want to know, here we want to know names, types, defaults, and a description. And then for the component APIs, we want like props, defaults, and I think that's, or maybe like a how to use component shadowing or something.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I can't spell component today.
I got you.
So,
Don't worry. I'm here for spelling.
but yeah, so this is something that I'm pretty excited about. So yeah, Tony's just asking why have I never seen Glitch before? So I've done a little bit of stuff with Glitch, but what Glitch just did that was really, really cool is they actually created a VS Code integration. And so this is really powerful. Let me just, well, let's do a quick side note here. Let me go into my dev folder, and I'm just going to clone your repo locally. So I can clone this, and then once I get into it, what was it called? Gatsby theme Instagram.
Yep.
And I can install so that I've got my stuff.
Yeah, another thing that I use Glitch before is to create and test like APIs, because it's a full-fledged Node API. So and you have immediately an URL to use. So I remember doing like some crazy stuff with APIs here, and test like simple things, and it's pretty powerful. It's pretty good.
I feel like I set up somewhere. Where's my? How do I get to my?
On the right, yeah, there you go.
Recent projects. Where's the Gatsby
Maybe
stuff?
on the right you have your settings.
I created one in here. Maybe it's. Did I do it up here? Maybe. Yeah. So we have one. We have a Hello World Gatsby project. If anybody wants to take a look at this, so this is like a fully functional site that if I just open this, it'll boot this server in the background, and it lets you color, which makes it so much easier to wait for it to boot. And once it boots up, you've got a working Hello World server. And if I go back to Glitch, and we'll go to the Gatsby JS thing, and I go into this project, like what's really, really cool about this is like if I go in and I edit and I say like I'm going to go into my source pages index and I'll do like hello Glitch. Now I didn't even hit save. It just did that. And this is going to live update for me, I think. Are you still trying to start?
I hope. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's still trying to start. So the it's just running a full container in the background, which is really, really, really powerful stuff. And there we go. Now it says hello Glitch.
It's so amazing how many tools we have right now to build like apps and to build web pages. Like I actually the backstory for this Instagram theme is that I'm building this for a client. So he's gonna use that in his website, and we're building that with Gatsby. And I was showing him everything about Netlify. And he used to be a developer like 9 years ago. And now he saw that like in just 30 seconds, we create a web page, we put it online, and now with HTTPS, everything. And he was just blown away, like how easy it is right now to just make things. It's amazing.
It really, it's such an exciting time to be working in web dev. Like I know that it feels sometimes kind of overwhelming. Like there's so many tools, there's so many things to deal with and that you kind of have to struggle with. But oh man, it is just so cool to be
super cool.
To be like working right now where, like I remember when I had to do, my own Webpack setup. Like I was working at IBM and I had to like figure out how Webpack was put together, and I was debugging something, and then like underneath that I'm dealing with like Nginx configs, and I had to stand up my own Kubernetes container, and I was like, this is the worst. Why? Like all I want to do is write some React, and I'm like 12 levels deep into the tooling. And so being in a place where you can just go to something like Glitch and just throw it together and it just works, and like everything does what you expect it to do. It's really, really nice. But so anyways, back to the task at hand here. Let's
coming back again.
Yeah. So here I think we can just kind of look to some official examples, because like let's start with the theme options, right? So let's take a look at the Gatsby theme blog. We can just look at the npm.js and we'll do Gatsby theme blog. And this one should give us some good options. So we've got like convention here is a usage section. We've got the theme options with a table and then some examples of how to use it. And then here there's additional configuration. And this is where we'd probably want to put our components. So maybe what we can do is actually just go straight to this repo if we can get a link to it. We need to fix that. We forgot to put a repo in there. Go into the Gatsby repo. We'll go to the themes. And let's look at the theme blog. And then if I go into the README, I can have it set up without the preview. So let's go raw. And now we can just kind of grab this section out. So let's do here. We want the example usage and we'll take, we don't really need that additional config, right? You're not using anything from the metadata?
No, I'm not using anything from metadata.
Okay. So if we just drop this right in,
So
and then,
here.
Yeah, jump in there.
Username. Default value is gonna be Gatsby.js. I think I need to pull this off. I don't think it's gonna be like good to have Gatsby.js as a source. Maybe just throw a warning or an error if you're not setting like this is a requirement. Or
I mean, so like another one that I really like for like a default is Rian. I think it's Rian Court. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Courtiers, I think it is. His partner has an Instagram that I absolutely love, which is Dora for Scale, and it's this this amazing collection of photos with this cute dog, and I think this started as a joke, like they were trying to sell something on Craigslist, and so they used their dog as a way to get the scale of the object. But now they just do this photo, all these different photos of objects with Dora for scale. This could be a really good default, actually, as like, because it's fun. It's definitely going to be like G-rated content, and it's pretty obvious that you're doing the wrong thing. Here's how I found out about it: is the Gatsby socks there in the background.
That's the connection. Okay.
But yeah, so this is a really fun Instagram.
Dora for Scale.
I would definitely recommend checking that out. But yeah, so we can, yeah.
Okay. Maybe also what I'm gonna do is change that in the config right now. Well, I'm not gonna be able to push this to GitHub, right?
I think you can. I mean, like this project will persist. I think you can pull it to your own GitHub, but worst case scenario, you'll be able to like.
Be awesome.
So I know that it's possible when it's your own code. But since I created this project, it might not work. You might have to do some stuff, and I don't know enough about how Glitch works with the two-way communication to feel confident telling you that like that might be something to edit in your own thing. But the cool thing about this is that,
so it's fine.
Yeah, but so this change here will make enough of an impact that like we can. In the example, once that goes live, this will just change like without any other changes. It'll just become Dora for Scale. It will be
visible. It will be like straight there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And another thing that'll be good is I was going to say in the demo, it's probably a good idea to switch it over to use some site to show the configuration. But we can, like I said, we can address that later. I think for now, we can just keep going on this README. So you've got your username set, and then I don't think you need any other ones, right? We can just let those go?
No. Yeah, we can delete all of them.
Okay.
So username, and then I'm just going to do the same one. Copy. Whoa, no. Not there, here. Yep. So this is the Gatsby config. Okay.
And then I'm just going to face these up so that it's the same, just style
Yeah.
consistency
Oh yeah,
for
I tend
my
to do the
own.
backticks right now for everything.
If you want to backtick everything, you can totally do that as well. I'm just making sure they're
no, it's fine.
the
It's all
same.
right. I don't care. It's yeah, it's gonna build, so it's fine. It's like whatever.
So yeah, and then in this one, I would say we want to do something like a grid, and then you'll be able to do like, does grid take props or anything?
Right now, it doesn't, and
Okay.
that's maybe a question. This is leading to a question because if you go to a grid component, I'm using static query here. So okay, so the use case is this: the user can just pull the image and that's it, or the user can pull more data from the image from the post. But I don't know if this is something that the user can do a configuration of, because it's a static query.
Sure. So you can, so you could let people shadow this query.
Okay.
So they would be able to just kind of rewrite this component. How would this work? I mean,
Maybe just shadow the query itself and import the query.
yeah,
I don't know if that's
right.
gonna work.
But in order to do that, you would need to like create a hook, because static queries have to, or use static query needs to be inside of a component, I think.
No, I
And
know, but
so,
if you take whatever if you take the whatever I'm passing to use static query and export it, is that gonna work too? Or
well, yeah. So you could do something like you could do in here. We could create. How do I create a new folder? I want to create a new folder
and maybe you
inside
have
of.
three dots over there. No, it's not. Not license.
Oh, it needs to be
Theme
inside the
file.
folder. So I got to go to like theme, source, hooks, use Instagram or something. And then inside here, you can do something like this. And you would be able to say like use Instagram.
Use Instagram equals like it's a custom hook. Okay.
Yeah. And
Custom
then we
hook.
would just need to import like use static
Use.
query and GraphQL. And then you could like export
Export
default.
that. Okay,
Use
this is neat.
Instagram.
I think that's.
And then what's really cool about this too is it like it gives you the ability then, if you want, to change the shape of this. So like if you wanted to return an object that was like,
Oh yeah, because you have a custom hook. So yeah, you can return whatever you want.
yeah, so you could
That's
just,
super awesome.
you could do like the ID equals whatever, and just kind of pull out the pieces that you want and then send that back. But in this case, I think it would be easiest to just like
Return the same
return
data.
the data. Can I make you format? Like, do I have a format command? Format? No, I don't know. But
That was too much.
yeah, it's too much to ask.
Yeah.
I could have sworn there was a way to do this. I feel like I'm gonna figure it out at some point. And
It should be.
no, whatever. I'm just gonna leave it for now. That'll be an exercise for somebody who is not me. But so yeah. So anyways, this will give you a like usable hook, and then you can just kind of pull this in. So import use Instagram from hooks. Use Instagram.
Okay.
And then this would just change to
Data will
be.
be that, and that's it.
Yeah. So it's kind of a nice way. I mean, the downside of this is that now your query is like separated from
The
it's
component.
separated from the content. So like you have to go look at this to figure out what data is available, which is an argument in favor of abstracting this, right? Because one of the big benefits of doing that is that you could then, like, this card just accepts props that are like the URL, the name, the number of likes, the username, and you could just like data dot map
It's harder. Yeah.
and then you like spread the image or spread the Instagram node instead of like passing in the post, and then you got to know like where the data is nested, all that kind of stuff. That type of abstraction is really nice, and it also kind of puts you in a stronger position where later you might not even necessarily have to be hooked to Instagram. It could be like Gatsby theme photo gallery, and then Instagram could be a source, but you could also pull
There you
from the
go.
file system, or you could also pull from, maybe you pull from both, but it's a generic photo type, so who cares? That is so. Anyways, that's kind of got a little away from us, but what you were asking originally, and the reason that we started doing this was to let somebody shadow this. The way that this would then work is that if you were to come in here and say, I want to create a new thing, I could go, let's see, demo, source, Gatsby theme, Instagram, and then I could
It's with
shadow
it's
hooks.
scoped.
Oh, it's scoped.
Yeah. You need my username in front of Gatsby theme. It's
And
at
is it?
Horacio H.
Yep.
There you
Okay.
go.
So here, then, you would be able to just grab this out.
Change. Yeah.
Oops. And, with really no additional changes, you could just paste this right in and say, like, in addition
I
to
want
the
the likes
likes,
now,
I
or I
want
don't want the likes. Or
yeah. So, I don't know if that's actually a field, but you could just add that in and then you would have access to it. So anyways, that would be the pattern for that. I'm actually going to delete this. How can I do that? Can I
just go
drop
to
whole
the three
thing?
dots if the scroll lets you do that.
Yeah.
Are
So I
you're
dropped that out.
deleting source?
Oh shit.
Well, it's fine. I think we have only like a index
Wait.
MDX.
You want to see something really cool that Glitch does? Check this out.
You have.
I can hit this
Oh my
rewind
goodness.
button, and now it's going to show me a timeline of all the bad decisions I've made.
What? Oh
And
my
so
goodness.
if I go back here, I want to get like
No way. And you
here.
can just like it's like a video. Oh my goodness. This is amazing.
All right, so let's maybe there. How about that? Is these my bad decisions?
No.
Somewhere in here.
Before.
Where's my
It's
source
still
folder?
not.
Show me my.
No, it's still not there.
I mean, it's definitely here. I'm confused as to where the. It's like it's
Yeah,
not
it's
rendering.
5 hours before it should be there.
Yeah. Where are you at? I feel like it's got to be there, right? I'm gonna rewind it. Did you fix it? Oh, you punk! Let's refresh the page.
Let me just give you the. Oh, I have it. Here.
Aha, it's back. Yeah, it's back. It was a UI thing.
Okay.
But how sick is that? Like, it makes me so happy.
That's so amazing. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so and like just looking at our preview again here, we have the markdown file now has theme options. So we can see we've got the username, what the default value is, why it's there. We've got the example usage, so you can kind of set your theme and your username. And then we're starting to get into the exported components. So at this point, I think like this would just be, you want to put in like a description of what this is and why it's useful. And then down here, we would want like example usage. And so the in any MDX file or React, actually, I would show both. So now you've got like MDX, and you can do basically what you did here. So we'll get into the pages. We'll just grab this thing. and drop it in. And we can simplify this. Boy, I can't spell today.
Okay. Look at my foot.
And then you could also say like,
Does a glitch have a glitch?
yeah, it was a minor glitch. And then in React, oh my, wow, okay. In any React component, and then I think the rest of this is going to be, almost the same. So we can kind of do this.
Yeah.
And then export default.
Great.
Yeah. And so that's, I mean, that really is kind of the whole goal, right? That's what we want, is to show people how to use it. And so then we can just rinse and repeat for the card. And now, is the card something that you can use standalone, or is that expected to only be used as part of the grid?
There's this specific card is going to be used just inside the grid, but there's going to be another card that you can use it standalone. That it will add more things like the header with your avatar, and also the caption, and more. It will be more complex. But
cool.
This is like the idea. Let's see how it goes. But
yeah, and I think that's a really cool way to look at it too, right? So you've got the ability to kind of show all of the posts, or I'm assuming if you have a post ID or something, you would just like add that to the card or something.
The normal use cases for Instagram is to pull data from a hashtag or from a username, and also maybe you're writing like different sections with, and you can refer to Instagram posts for those sections. So those are the two common like use cases for Instagram like components in a website. But of course, I just dropped a tweet like a couple of days ago. Hey, what are the other Instagram use cases that you have? And maybe it will be more components over there. So let's see. But yeah, those are the two components that I will definitely gonna like export, and people can use them.
Yeah, cool. Well, awesome. So it seems to me like this is maybe what I would want to see, because the grid component is the one that we'll actually use. I think when you add more stuff later, you'll continue to document that. But so, from my standpoint, if I came to here, like, you'll want to add this, but outside of that, you can.
This is what you need. Like, that's it.
Yeah. It shows me how to use your theme, and like how to put the photos somewhere. So that then points to the demo. And so we were already looking at the demo. I think this demo is good. What I would potentially add to this demo is kind of some additional information about how to use it. So maybe we can take a look at like Gatsby theme events. I did this one somewhere. No, not. Do I want events?
Gatsby theme event was from your Egghead videos that are amazing, by the way.
Thank you very much.
The
Egghead videos.
I use them a lot. Like, I saw them like twice, I guess, to build this Gatsby theme Instagram. I also built Gatsby theme MDX, and there's also another one that I'm gonna build. That
awesome.
Those things were like the progress that you showed was pretty useful. So
awesome.
I'm thankful.
Very happy to hear that.
Thankful for that.
Yeah, definitely. So what I'm trying to find is here. I set up a demo. Did I deploy this demo? I I don't know that I did. So what I feel like one of these I did a really great job of documenting, and I can't remember which one it is.
Okay. There's a bunch. Yeah.
I can't. No, it's not this one because this one doesn't have. Like this one, this one's got good docs, but it doesn't have a demo, so I need to go fix that. And then down here somewhere,
Also,
maybe.
if you, well, there's the Gatsby theme in DX theme that I did. It also has some demo. If you can just maybe go there and see, because it has like a link for a demo and SH. And then if you go there, Gatsby theme MDX. So here you see I have also a screenshot.
Ah, cool. Look at that. Yeah. So let's get to the demo. Yeah. And so, and this is actually what I was going to talk about for the demo, is to have the demo actually include a little bit of instructions, or at least like a link to the how to use this.
Okay.
Because the thing about demos is, like, if somebody finds that demo through a search or someone links them to it and they're like, oh, I want to use this. If I'm looking at this demo, I don't actually know how. Like, I can't, it's not clickable. I don't have a link to the repo. And so that puts me at a disadvantage where, like, I'm not sure how to start. I'm like, oh, I love this. I want to use it. How? This one, you've done a great job because you're like linking to it. You've got, or these are like links to the headings, but so we've got all of that. So maybe the only thing that I would add here would be a link to the official repo.
Yes, that's something that is not there. Yeah.
And so, but like, I would say both of these are strong start. They show what it does, and it gives you some kind of, here's where to go with this. Here's how you could use it. Here's the specific benefit that it offers. And it kind of puts you in a position to get off and running quickly. So as long as it points to the repo and, like, you've got installation instructions and everything, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, I think this is great. Like, to the people watching in the chat, like, what else do you want to see in docs? What are the things that really help you get up and running, so that you've got a really good chance of succeeding when you pick up a new package or theme or software? Weigh in. This would be a great time to share.
Yeah. Also, another question that I have is because we are, well, almost everyone are going to use the theme jam example that you shared, and there you have a workspace structure like repo. So you have a README outside, then you have a README inside the theme. And actually, I guess in the Gatsby JS website, the README that is going to be visible is the one that is inside the theme folder, not this one.
That excellent point. Yes. So that is absolutely true.
Yeah. So I found myself doing with the Gatsby theme MDX, copying the README 3 times. Well, 2 times, because it's in the theme and also in the actual theme that I'm deploying to npm, that I'm publishing to npm. So what would be the, like, I guess for now is to copy, like, create one and copy that into the theme folder. But I don't know if there's something else that we can do.
So I actually think, I mean, you bring up a good point, which is that there's going to be a README that shows up on GitHub's homepage because it's a Yarn workspace, and a repo that's going to show up on NPM and on Gatsby's showcase, because that's what the theme that gets published is going to actually include. And so what that means is, like, this one here at the root, that's visible on GitHub. This one here in the theme itself is going to be visible pretty much everywhere else. So what I think would probably be let's see, because you don't want to duplicate, right? You don't have to edit every README twice every time.
Because I'm going to forget to duplicate sometime. So that's
right.
Not ideal.
So I think what would make sense to me is actually if we take like this. We could actually take all of this and move it to this theme. And so I'm just going to drop that in. I'm going to leave your to-dos for you to check. But so this is the actual like setup. And then down here, we can replace this with like, let's see, this how would we do this? Maybe we take this out and we say this is a
Okay, so it's just
workspace.
referencing. Okay.
And then you could do like, you know, theme, source, and docs, and then, you know, link to theme.
Readme.
And then demo site using this theme. And then you could do like demo.
Okay.
And so that, I think, if I did that correctly, should take us right in. Nah, it didn't work, but so it like,
Yeah, I get
that's
it.
because
Yeah,
they're using like the hashbang thing. But so that kind of puts you in a position where the markdown or the homepage, like the workspace, is like a table of contents more so than anything else. And so once you arrive on
it's
the
like
GitHub,
an
it's like
index
click
for
here
your
to
docs. Okay.
exactly that. And we got some cool we got some feedback in the chat too. So Ecomath says maybe a shadow example or a nice list of APIs for each component. I think a shadow example is actually a great idea. So maybe what we could do to do that is like if we were to look at here, we could say how to shadow this component. And then I would put like Gatsby component shadowing.
Also a link. Yeah.
So we could take like something like this. If you want to use component shadowing with this component, create a file at the following path in your site. And then it would be like source, Gatsby theme. Oh no. Gatsby theme, Instagram, components, grid.js. And then
a usage with okay.
Yeah. And so, so that's kind of like that's like the quick documentation, right? Is to say if you create a file here, it will shadow this thing. Deeper documentation would be like you could show an example of extending the component, like wrapping it somehow.
Because there's different ways to shadow. So it's
because like there's an extension model where you would do something like you'd import this from React, and then you would import grid from Horacio H, Gatsby theme, Instagram. And then down here, you could do like export default, and inside you would be like
div and grid, and that's it. Oh, okay.
Extra stuff. And then you could just like throw in the grid. And what's really powerful about this is like this eliminates your need to fully rewrite the component. You can just add some stuff to it. Or like if you wanted to do it as a styled component or something, you could add some styles or whatever. There are a lot of ways that you could approach that. Or you could do the full shadowing, which is what we were looking at with the use Instagram hook, where we copy pasted the source and we just started messing with it. I don't know that this is like you're now getting into like documenting Gatsby theme APIs in your theme, which is maybe not the most necessary thing.
Yeah.
I feel like with a link to the component shadowing docs, this is
That should do it.
probably, yeah, like I feel like this gets you started.
Okay. Okay,
That's
that's cool.
maybe
Yeah,
where I would
because
land on
then
it and see how it goes.
because yeah, you're right. That's pretty well documented in the Gatsby team docs, how to do those things. It's just a matter
Yeah,
of show. Okay, you need to, if you want to shadow the grid, this is the file that you need to create, and then you can do whatever you want, like over there.
exactly.
That's a good
And
point.
yeah, that seems right to me because now you're basically giving people their escape hatch. If you need to override this, here's the path, and then you're on your own. And so I think that seems, I think that's good because otherwise you're going to end up having to like, did anything change in the component shadowing API? Well, cool. Now you got to come in here and update every single theme README that you've written. So I think this is probably a better, I would say this is probably a better way to not get yourself into a maintenance problem. So let's see what Bryce has to say. So Bryce says there have been really good examples. The main points when using something new is good explanations about what is possible and what all is available in terms of APIs and things like that. So a solid example implementation, and that's kind of so it like Bryce brings up all the main points that we're trying to tackle here, right? So you want to, as soon as you show up, you want to know why it's going to help you. What problem is it designed to solve, and like what pain is it going to remove from your dev process? Then you're going to talk about what does it offer. So you know the APIs, the options, all those sorts of things, and then you want to see it in action. You want to make sure that it actually works, and that's what the demo is here for. So I think the biggest thing that would maybe be an improvement. So adding this description for the grid component to make sure that people can really understand like what is this grid component? Why would I want it? And then up here, you could even potentially add a little bit more to say like you know
extend
this
it, like why this is being created.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like there's not a huge why to that. It's like, well, why would I use this? Well, I want to show my Instagram stuff on my website. It's like, cool. That's a good enough reason. But in other cases, you know, if you're trying to make a case for something like theme UI or whatever, there's a little more of a why required there because you're about to add a decent amount of tooling to your site. So why is it worth that trade-off? Why are you making that change? And that gets missed in a lot of documentation. I find a lot of people saying like, cool thing, look at my cool thing. Here's how to use my cool thing. And I'm like, well, why would I use your cool thing? What's the value to me as the person on the other end of the screen in using your cool thing? But yeah, so that's a good thing to keep in mind as well. I mean, what do you think? Do you have any other questions? Anything else you want to dig into?
Maybe contributions also
To the themes themselves?
Yeah, so people, if they want to do contributions because it's open source, so
right,
there's like a basic contribution thing that I can just copy and paste, right?
Yeah, so Gatsby has, let's see, did I have this repo open? I thought I did. So Gatsby has like intense contributing docs, and the way that we do it is we have like a contribute section, or we have like full on docs, right? So a lot of projects though don't have that. I think Kent Dodds is good at this. So let's go look at his Kent C. Dodds, and let's look at one of his popular projects. So like here's React Testing Library.
React Testing Library. Yeah.
And I'm sure that he's got a contributing section in here somewhere. Contributors. So let's jump down. Does he have a how to contribute? Let's see. Feature request, bugs, looking to contribute. So he's basically just saying like, here's how to get involved, right? So he uses good first issue, which I love that practice. A link to find bugs, a link to find feature requests, and where to go for questions. So I think this is also one of those things that this is a very popular project, right? So lots and lots of
Yeah,
people
of course.
are getting involved in those sorts of things. I think on smaller projects, let's see, how did we do it on? I think it was like Gramps JS. Is that right? No. Let me just search for it. Gramps GraphQL. So let's do Gramps. This is a project that I worked on when I was at IBM. And that package, Gramps here, has a, like this uses all contributors. And then I think there's some like how to contribute. No, it doesn't.
So yeah, it's like,
then,
okay, if contributor.
Where's this going?
Contribute.
Oh, it's opening in the wrong window.
So it's another markdown. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a whole separate markdown file.
Okay. So yeah.
And oh wait, how does this work? So contributing actually gets pulled up. Like if I go to, does this show up if I? Yeah. So check that out. So you click on issues, and then GitHub will actually pick up this contributing.md and link to it.
Okay.
And then.
Okay, that's good. First issues.
What?
That's maybe, yeah, that.
Doesn't have any good first issues. That's cool. Like this is cool though. Like that they actually picked that up. And so this would, I mean, honestly, yeah, just head over to anything Kent C. Dodds does. It's a safe bet that if you go and copy paste it, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, he is very, very good at this.
Okay. Cool. Nice.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, I think I'm feeling pretty good about this. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling pretty well too. I have some other questions not related to docs, so I'm not gonna drop it here. So, but it's pretty solid. I think the structure is pretty well defined, at least the basic structure, and then I can just go from here to add more docs to this file. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then I guess another thing that would be kind of cool is we could take this and turn it into a little bit of a README template, and make that available. So if somebody's feeling frisky and you want to take this and kind of turn it into a theme template, you could submit that as a pull request to the demo. So the Gatsby, the theme jam example. You could submit the structure basically as a demo for how to do this. And the installation instructions, I actually feel like we should have included those, right? We should keep these. Because we don't have those right now.
On the base README, you mean?
Well, we have them here. What we get from this theme, we've got usage. We didn't actually we didn't put in installation instructions. So we should also add those. And those we can just kind of grab right out, I think. So let's go into the README. And we can just pull those straight out. And I'm going to... let's see. So yeah, I'll throw this in here. Get rid of my doubles. And then I'll let you go through and update these.
Yeah, I can do that. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's really like, this is cool, right? So this could make, I would say this is a really good template. You've got installation instructions. You've got, maybe the Y should go ahead.
Well, this is the what you're getting. The Y should be maybe up before installation.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got like an overview, a link to the demo, what it is, installation instructions, usage instructions, and then probably down at the bottom you could include a little bit of stuff about contributing, but most of the contributing would go into that contributing.md.
Nice.
Cool. All right.
Perfect.
How'd you feel about Glitch? I feel like that. I mean, like I'd like to work out some of the details so that we could, build the workspaces and stuff. But
It's pretty solid. I think it's quite powerful. There's some things that need like, for example, I I have the full screen stream in one like display, and then I need to switch to another one to see the code. But if I'm typing in another file that you don't see, it's quite like hard to follow. Or maybe if you are typing in a file that I'm not seeing, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
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 So there you
Okay.
go.
Yeah. So this
I'm
now
focused on that. Yeah. That's a
I
little
wonder.
tricky
So
to manage.
I just jumped to you. What happens if you open another file and like start typing in it?
Let me just go to the package JSON. Now I'm in the demo package JSON.
Okay. And if you type something, does it do I jump? I have to jump again. Yeah. Okay. So I would just have to keep jumping is really how that would work. So yeah, it'd be kind of cool if I could like pin to follow your cursor or something.
Like a drive mode. So if you're driving, I'm seeing everything that you are doing and all the changes that you are making. So you see like this pair programming way of doing it. I think this is pretty powerful to accomplish this. So if you are doing a remote pair programming, you can drive, and when you say you're driving, the other user is just looking at whatever you are doing, and it will change files, it will do whatever. So maybe that will be a useful like feature to add. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. Maybe they have that, and we don't know how to do it, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I need to take a list of questions to Potch, who taught me how to do Glitch a while back, and I feel like I didn't retain any of it. So but with that being said, you said you're doing freelance stuff. How can people find you if they want to pick you up as a freelancer?
Well, on Twitter, HHG2288. Sorry, it's a old username. I'm not gonna change it. That's it. And also, my website is over there. You can just look at there and let me know if you need anything. Yeah.
Wait, where is it? Am I looking at it and missing it? Is there?
I don't know. It should be there.
I feel like I'm
gonna put it there. Don't worry, it's gonna be there.
All right, so go follow Horacio. Yeah. Go check out this Instagram theme, and definitely borrow heavily from both Kent C. Dodds and Horacio's Readme, so that you can
check out the videos. Also, if you have any feedback, please let me know too. That would be awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And you posted a link to that a minute ago. I'll find here it is. Yeah. So here's a link to those videos again. And we can, we'll figure it all out. But yeah, so this is good stuff. We will get this cross posted to YouTube. And in the meantime, go follow Horacio and make sure you subscribe to my Twitch channel, because we're doing lots and lots of Theme Jam stuff all week. I do regular live streams every Thursday. It's turning out. These days, I've been doing them, this last week, it's been almost daily.
Yeah, I think if you go to events, if you go to the events tab, it will see all the events that you have like planned for the next days. It's amazing.
We got all sorts of stuff coming up, and this is not even up to date. So there's going to be even more coming up. So yeah, definitely subscribe, follow the Twitter channel, or follow the Twitch channel, and follow Horacio. And outside of that, I think we'll see everybody next time.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. We're having fun seeing your live streams. It's pretty good. We're learning a lot. At least me, I'm learning a lot. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that very much. All right, we'll see y'all.
Bye.